So, if you are interested in your students doing a podcast, Audacity is an easy tool that they could use. It's available through our software center, and although it has many buttons, there's all of these across the top, and then there's this over here, and there's some things down at the bottom, it really would be easy for fifth graders to use, and they'd only have to use a few of the buttons in order to make the podcast. One thing I love about using Audacity is that even if you make a mistake, the students can easily edit the mistake right out of the podcast. So let me go ahead and get started, and I'll show you how to do a basic recording. So right here, these are the buttons that your students are probably already familiar with: the pause, the play, the stop, the skip to go back, and then the skip forward, and then of course the record button. And all they would need to do in order to start recording is press this. And as you can see, as I talk, you can tell where the speech is. And you can also tell where there isn't any speech. And you have that nice flat line there. Let me stop it. So here is just a basic recording of me talking. And I'll show you how we can delete some of this dead space here. Wherever it's flat like that, that means that there was no noise. And what you would want to do is you would want to put your cursor right there. Now, although you may not be able to hear my voice in the quiet space, I can tell right here that there's nothing going on, so I would want to get rid of that. And in order to do that, I could use this little select tool right here and go right to there, and then I can cut that right out. So I could get rid of that space. I can also see that there's a flat line right here, but I'm not exactly sure how much to cut out. So what I'm going to do is go up here to the magnifier, and I'm going to zoom in. And then I'm going to slide over and zoom a little bit more, and that way I can really tell where there is no speech. So I'm going to put the cursor right there, and sure enough, there is nothing going on between here and here. So I can go ahead and use the select tool right there and get rid of that area of dead space. And all I have to do is clip it. So I've clipped out the dead space that I don't want, but I want to go back to the beginning and just make sure that I didn't miss anything. So you can just click this button here, skip all the way back, and I have this noise right here, but I'm not sure that that is anything that we would need in the podcast. So I'm going to listen from there and see if it is. All right, and although you can't hear it, that is just me making some sort of a noise as I get ready to speak. So I don't need any of that. So I'm going to use this tool right here. I'm going to go right to there, highlight it, delete, and get all of that. There we go. So I should be set. All right, so now that we have the pretend podcast created, your students could go through and they could edit out any mistakes that they had made with their interview. So that's one thing that's super easy with Audacity. And then let's say they wanted to add some music to their interview. So one of the things that they could do is they could go up here to File, Import, and Audio Files. Now, I already have an audio file in here. It's this one called The Mysterious Trail. And I got that one from this website, which is listed in the Weebly portfolio from freemusicarchive.org. And if you look right here, it'll tell you that it is a Creative Commons piece of music, and you just have to give attribution, and you cannot use it commercially. But all you would do is click this little download arrow and download it to your computer, which I have. So let me go back to Audacity, and I have it right here, and so I'm going to import that one. And then there it is. And as you can see, this music is much, much louder than my voice is up here. And so we would need to make it so that the voice is a little bit more in line with the music. Also, this right here is super loud, whereas this is a little bit better matched up to the voice. So what we're going to do is we're going to clip all of this big, strong introduction here because we don't need that one. So I'm going to clip it right there. What you want to do is you want to get right in here with that little finger, and you want to drag it all the way back over there, and you want to clip it right where that little quietest part is. So there I have that. I'm going to clip it, and now it's gone. And of course, the music clip is much, much bigger than my podcast. So I'm going to get rid of most of this back in here. So let's see, I'm going to start right here and clip all of that because we don't need it. And now it's gone. And we have another little quiet space right about here. So I'm going to clip that and make it the same length as the podcast. So we should be good. Now the next thing we need to do though is we need to amplify the voice here so that it is a little more in alignment with the music. So what you would do is highlight that and then go up to Effect and to Amplify. And it's going to automatically do it as much as it can without doing what's called clipping, and that is making the voice sound really sharp. So we're going to click OK. And as you can see, there is the voice now, and it's a little bit louder and it's a little more in line with the music. But it's kind of hard to see all of this very easily, so I am going to click and zoom in, and that way I can see much more of my speech and more of the music. So there we have it. We now have speech at the top here and the music track at the bottom. All right, and actually what I did was I went back and I undid the clip of the music down here because I actually needed it to be a little bit longer than the speech. So I'm going to re-clip it, maybe right about here, and get rid of that amount. And that way I have more music than I do have me speaking. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to this tool, and this tool is the time shift tool, and it will allow you to move your speech around or the music. And I'm going to put it so that it's kind of in the middle of the music right here. And now that I've done that, I'll have some music playing before I start speaking and some music playing after I start speaking. But I don't want the music to be loud while I am speaking. So then I'm going to use this envelope tool right here. And that envelope tool creates these gray bands at the top and at the bottom. And what you do is you come down here to the music. And let's say I want the music to be louder before I start talking, but then to get quieter once I start talking. So what I'll do is right here, I will put some little dots. As you can see, I've got the white dots here. And then I'm going to select right about here, just when I first start speaking, and I have some more dots. And what I can do is I can then make this quiet and loud. And I want it to be a little louder right there, but when I'm talking, I want it to be pretty quiet. So I'm going to adjust it down so that it's super quiet while I'm talking. But then, as I'm finishing talking, I want the music to come back in. So I'm going to click, do that, and then right here, we're going to get loud again. And maybe make that just a touch louder. So as I'm finishing, it's going to start getting loud there. So let me play it, make sure it's the way I want it. All right, so that has it exactly the way I want it. I have some nice loud music before I start speaking. Then when I start speaking, the music gets quiet. And then when I'm finished speaking, the music trails off. So fifth grade students should be able to record a podcast with another coach and trim out the extra noise that they did, or not the extra noise, but the quiet parts that they don't want, as well as any mistakes that they made. And then they should be able to insert some music and adjust it for volume and have themselves a nice little podcast. Thanks for listening.